No intro. Just gonna get straight to the point. And yeah, today's a sad day. It's a very devastating day. Uh Bray Wyatt has passed away at the age of 36. Wyndham Rotunda. Um, a father, a brother, son, uh, husband, father, everything, co-worker, friend, to many, and to us, his fans, who appreciated him, are just not processing it pretty well. So we just kind of had to do this and kind of talk and discuss and, well, not really discuss, just vent, you know, because in a time like this isn't, this is, it's, there's nothing else to do other than just talk. It's never, my opinion for my life, it's never good to hold stuff like this in, let it out, cry it out, tell each other you love them. But yeah, life's short, man. 36 years is not how any of us want to end. I know me personally, I don't want to go out now. I feel like I can give so much to this world. I don't ever want to go, but it does come for us. But you just never expect it to be at age 36. Um, Especially for a guy who had so much to give to the business in the world of wrestling. When me and Chris, we saw him live on SmackDown. We got blessed with an appearance from the Fiend when he jumped ship from being Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family to being the Fiend. Man, that was something. New York,
Yeah,
yeah, Brooklyn gave him a holy shit.
yeah, it was yeah, it's weird, man. It's yeah, I feel like I got punched in the chest.
Yeah,
I
it was
don't
very
I don't
gnarly.
really feel much for celebrity deaths,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely felt this one. I was a big Bray Wyatt fan. Uh I I owe a lot to him for re-engaging me in the world of wrestling.
Hmm.
And me and you went to some NXT shows and but Bray was really just a interesting person. To
Hmm.
me, it feels like he was a unicorn in the business of just like there's a very finite number of people to ever come through the wrestling world who are as creatively gifted as Bray
Yeah.
Wyatt was. Um, yeah, it's crazy. I can't think of another wrestler who just like gets such insane crowd reactions just from like all the lights in the arena going
Hmm.
out is like, yeah, I don't know, The Undertaker. I mean, that's the level that Bray Wyatt uh, was kind of on.
Hmm.
Even The Undertaker would tell you that. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, that this news is pretty devastating. He was at the Royal Rumble this year, and then he got pulled from a show at MSG a couple months later for a health issue, and it was kind of kept pretty private what it was or the
Hmm.
severity. Um, Sounded like he was getting better,
Yeah.
and I guess that's not true, or uh, got better and got worse. I don't know. Uh, yeah, I mean, it's tough to really, I don't know, put it all into words. Feel like so many different emotions. There's like the happiness of what we got to experience, from
Hmm.
Bray Wyatt, and then just the sadness that it's over and that there
Yeah.
won't be more. Uh, yeah, I feel like Bray Wyatt through all the different iterations, he had something for everybody.
Yeah.
If you were a fan of the cult leader, Bray Wyatt, or the Fiend Bray Wyatt, or the Uncle Howdy Bray Wyatt, yeah, I don't know. It sucks. It sucks.
Hmm.
Doesn't feel real. I feel like I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and this is all gonna feel like it was a horrible dream.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, he got dealt a real shit hand,
Hmm.
and felt like he gave everything he had while he was here.
Hmm.
But um yeah, he just was not here as long as we would have liked.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. No one expects to go at
No,
any young age.
dude, this is like, I mean, as of 20 minutes ago, the post on Twitter from Triple H,
Hmm.
where he says, that Mike Rotunda called him and told him what happened,
Hmm.
has like 15 million views and like over 100,000 likes. It's like the gravity of, AEW
Hmm.
put out a statement. Hundreds of wrestlers have already been putting out statements.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, he was it's hard to overstate what a massive figure Bray, and just like what a polarizing figure he was
Hmm.
in the landscape of pro wrestling. Um, yeah, and just being one of those guys who really like fought for his ideas.
Yeah.
Sometimes they worked out, sometimes they didn't. But you always knew you were going to get something unique
For
with
sure.
Bray Wyatt. Uh, yeah, I mean, the memory, well, I have like a bunch of different Bray Wyatt memories, but Viper in the Family,
Hmm.
probably one of my favorite WWE storylines
Yeah.
in recent memory. But specifically his SummerSlam debut as The Fiend,
Yep.
all of those Firefly Funhouse segments it was weird because I remember the first one and I was like, there was like puppets showing up backstage. I was like, this is kind of dumb. This feels like a Vince McMahon, like a dumb Vince McMahon thing.
Yeah.
And then like each week it would get a little bit weirder.
Hmm.
Uh, and then the Fireflies Funhouse stuff started. And then that SummerSlam debut with the theme song and getting a holy shit chant just from his entrance, which I mean, again, you could probably count on one hand the number of times that that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And I don't really want to get bogged down in like the booking of the Fiend
Yeah.
and like Goldberg and that kind of stuff. But uh the Firefly Funhouse match, man, I must have personally I've watched that match like 20 times. It's like one of my favorite pieces of media from WWE. Uh yeah, this is just genius. It was like one of the weirdest perfect storms of like COVID being
Yeah.
the only reason that match came about in the first place,
Hmm.
that they had to get creative. And man, I remember uh us texting back and forth because I think we were watching it at the same time.
Hmm.
And we were just like, dude, this is nuts. This is like some crazy shit. Like I've never seen anything like this before. And this is after we saw like Broken Matt Hardy doing all of his crazy shit.
Yeah.
But it was like, yeah, that Firefly Funhouse match. Man,
Hmm.
I feel like if you're gonna show anyone like a here's a snapshot of like just the wild mind of Bray Wyatt, it's like that 15 minutes is probably as good as it gets. Uh, yeah. Yeah. It felt like he got a raw deal in WWE, which is crazy because he's like won the title like 3 times.
Yeah.
But it never felt like they fully got behind him.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I don't know, gonna miss him a lot. I was looking forward to him coming back. I thought he was gonna come back. That sounds like a lot of people thought he was gonna come back.
Yeah. I think so.
And he's not.
See,
Yeah.
I didn't really have much screen time watching him because I was not really following wrestling when he was, mainly around. But I remember, Chris, you and I were talking a little while ago, or even maybe a couple months ago now, when he first started with the Nexus team,
Hmm.
and I had
He has.
completely like I had no idea he was part of that team, so I ended up going through like some videos about his career and how many different attempts he made to kind of make a character for himself, and all the different iterations that he's gone through. That's dedication right there, because you're not gonna have some you're not always gonna have something that just sticks, for the rest of your career. There's always that reinvention of yourself, figure out what is gonna work best. And it's just interesting to see all the stuff that he went through to reach that point where he found out what worked for him, what was working for the crowd, and where it was gonna go. And was it the SummerSlam he had came back after being gone for a while?
Yeah, as the Fiend. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they had like I think he made the appearance on like the Raw anniversary or something. And it was like, okay, well, what's happening next? Weren't they trying to set up something with him and LA Knight at that time?
Oh, that's when he
Um,
came back. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
earlier
from
this year, yeah, the
yeah.
Rumble.
So it's like, hey, what's gonna happen next? And after that, he just kind of vanished, and it's like, well, what's going on? As you guys know, as the viewers know, I'm the casual here, so I didn't really
Mhm.
follow everything. But yeah, 36 is fucking young, man.
That's our generation. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, I don't know. This is all kept very private, understandably.
Mhm.
Uh, Eerily similar to Chadwick Boseman. Although I guess with him, we literally didn't know anything. We knew Bray had
Yeah.
like gone through some health stuff.
I mean, this is also just like it's like a slap in the face because we lost Brody Lee 3 years ago, in December of
Yeah,
2020. And they were stablemates. They became brothers at that point,
yeah,
and that also affected him a lot. Affected a lot of us a lot because it came out of nowhere, and it was also during time where we're like, is the world gonna be okay?
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That
yeah,
really did come out of nowhere. Brody
that,
didn't say anything. I think he had told like what, like a couple of people
like the inner,
backstage.
yeah, just like the big. He told no one, I think, backstage. It was just like his bosses, like Tony and
Yeah,
maybe like Jericho, and that was it.
maybe Cody at the time. I
I
can't
think
remember
Cody and Jericho,
exactly.
and that's about it. I mean, I think Cody had to know because he was going to drop the belt because he's like, I need to take time off. But yeah, it's just like it's unbelievable. It's just like life is cruel.
Dude, it's, I mean, the unbelievable is probably the exact word to describe it, which is just like
Mhm.
everybody seems completely like, punched in the stomach from this. Like we
Yeah.
just, yeah, just I don't know, it doesn't feel real. It's weird when people die this young
Yeah.
because there's no like it's very hard, at least for me, to mentally process somebody who wasn't like 85 years old dying.
Yeah.
It just feels very sudden. I feel so badly for his, Jojo, and he has kids, and
It's got 4 kids, man. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's what makes this kind of tricky because as fans, there's like, Bray Wyatt, the performer that we're all gonna miss. But then there's Wyndham Rotunda, the human behind
Hmm.
the aura of Bray Wyatt, who just seemed like a chill, down to earth dude who like
Hmm.
loved his family and his wife. Um, yeah, as fans, I don't really know any other way to talk about it other than to, just talk about all the, you know, fun that Bray Wyatt brought to
Hmm.
WWE. I did want to mention because I would definitely regret not bringing this up, but I
Hmm.
remember, I forget what year it was with like TV contracts and whatnot, but like usually when uh WWE is like selling, or like re-upping contracts with Raw and SmackDown on the TV networks, there's like the networks will put in some requests as to like the people they want on the shows.
Hmm.
And obviously, like you want the champions, whoever the champions are, you want them to be on your show only because you want people
Hmm.
to tune in to see them, whether it's like Roman, at the time, I don't know, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, like that kind of stuff. And I remember Bray Wyatt was like a sticking point of like
The Fox deal.
which show would get him, because Fox and USA both wanted him on their show specifically because like his shit would go so viral. Like anything he did would like move the industry. It's almost like Bray Wyatt really, I guess, like pre-Bloodline. The stuff he would do would always get the most views. It would always go the most viral.
Yeah.
Always be the thing everybody was talking about. Like him coming back last year was like a huge story. And his like opening, remarks when he did like his first promo was like all anyone was talking about was like, what's his next, the Wyatt Six, like what's the next storyline that he's going to be able to do? And Triple H is in charge, so he was probably going to give him, full control. Yeah, the guy had a massive, I don't know, there's like a small number of people whose names carry the like fan craze that wrestling fans can be known for. And Brock Lesnar, you say his name, everybody gets hyped, that music hits, everybody loses their minds, he comes out, he F5s people. Bray Wyatt was on that list. Like it's just one of those names where it's like, what's this guy gonna do next? Like, what's he up to?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you and I, Frankie, were watching the Elimination Chamber when he beat AJ.
Yep.
And that was a big moment.
1, 2, 3, baby.
Kind of sucks that he was sort of treated like a transitional champion, because it felt like he was finally going to get, some recognition, or at least a chance to run with the ball for a little bit. But looking back, at least he got to win the title. And that was a great match, by the way. But
It was.
yeah, I remember that's a pretty core memory, watching Bray Wyatt win the belt. And like you said earlier, when we went to MSG, and that when that Fiend music hit, man, when the
Brooklyn,
lights went
actually.
out and the fucking the red lighting and the video board says "Let me in," man, that was worth it. That was worth sitting through a Baron Corbin match.
Yeah, we did see a Baron Corbin match.
And then we
Gotta
got to
make it
see
funny, huh? We have to make
Dude,
it funny. Yeah,
you
you gotta
know,
lighten the mood.
yeah, yeah, it's like reflecting on it. It's like crazy that he came out for what, like 90 seconds. He hit someone with the Sister Abigail and then like slid under the ring and everybody went home. But it was like, that was like the only thing I remember from the show. Was like, bro, was the Bray Wyatt part, because that was so hype. And I just, personally, like, I mean, I have his like song downloaded on my phone, the Fiend song, it was like Code Orange. I forget the name of the song that he came back to.
Oh, right,
recently. But I remember when that first entrance hit, everybody was like, "Please release the song! Please release the song! This shit goes so hard." Yeah, I don't know. He was he was a pretty massive name in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
And it stings.
Yeah, it stings. It's just cruel. But that's life. I mean, it's a reminder, check on yourselves, go to your physicals, do check on your health, everything. Because I guess not to make it a negative note, I remember, was it this week or not last week, how we all knew like there was reports that he was just battling an illness. And then apparently it was like pretty bad, that I think it was Meltzer who said it was like life threatening, but he's on the mend. And then yeah, I'm not gonna say the reports are out. I'm not gonna say it out of respect for him. I'm not gonna say it. You guys, if you're listening out there, you could look it up. But yeah, there's apparently the reports out like how he passed away and why. Um, but it's just a reminder too. It's just like, check on your mental health, check on your physical body, check on your family, and remind them if they don't remember. Dentist, whatever, just do what you got to do. Take care of yourself. Don't wait till the last minute. And I'm not saying that Bray waited to the last minute. I'm sure he was very on top of his health. Man was fit, fitter than probably both of us. No offense, Chris. Even with all those muscles, I'm sure Bray could take it to you and bench press a lot. Like that man was like he's a wrestler. And people forget about what that job is. You know, they think it's all showmanship. It's not that. It's a lot of physicality, a lot of it, and just like biting down on your mouth guard, your tongue, and like gritting down with your teeth and just taking that bump. You know, you got to be in somewhat of a shape, and like Bray was in phenomenal shape, and we were just shocked that he was gone for so long. We just thought it's because he was getting ready to do something big, or revamp his character, or maybe go back to the Fiend. In reality, he was just fighting, an illness, and then apparently it was for his life, and I guess things just didn't work out for him, and I don't know how else to phrase it. It sucks. Life took over, or decided to move the next chapter of his life, and that's the afterlife. And it sucks. It's terrible, and I hate doing these because I feel like it's happening way too much. We did this for Kevin Conroy last year when the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh passed away. It's just like a lot of these like people you grew up watching, or like if not grew up, like things that inspired you. Bray's mind was just so good. That Funhouse match with John Cena is just like it's so memorable. It's officially living rent free in my head, and forever live rent free in my head.
Iconic, truly
iconic. Yeah, as much as people were like thought it was dumb or didn't get it, that's fine. But those who stuck around, or who recognized what Bray was doing, or watching the breakdowns from other people, or the speculation, because let's face it, he just had that mind where it's like he'll leave it up to you for interpretation.
He was a
Other things were more
polarizing
obvious.
guy, man.
Yeah,
You know, whether you liked whatever he created or not, he certainly got you talking.
Yeah, it was he took what was given to him. The WWE universe is a universe, so he created his universe within the universe, and that's no one did that. No one's ever done that.
No, and Bray, I feel like, was also one of those guys who, like, I mean, I hate to always draw it back to the bloodline, but I think I'm kind of realizing how much influence his style had on my interest in the bloodline stuff, which was that, like, Bray was really the first guy that I was willing to give, like, the benefit of the doubt to see where something was going. Because like usually with WWE, it would be like a couple of weeks, and then if the story is still like either dumb or feels like it's not going anywhere, then it's like, all right, I'm gonna tune out for another 6 months, and like I don't know, I'll check in at the Royal Rumble or something. But with Bray, I feel like a lot of his fans, like diehard fans, were willing to give him months, years for some of his stories or ideas, see where they went. I mean, the cult leader gimmick started in NXT and then went on to the main roster. Like that one spanned at least a couple of years. We weren't really, super back into it at that point, but he had some crazy moments with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Breaking free from the Wyatt family, like, Hold, that was all great stuff. Yeah, he's really the first person that I remember, like, this stuff with the Fiend being like kind of slow to start, and I was like, well, it's Bray Wyatt though, you kind of got to give his ideas room to breathe. Like, he's working on something bigger. You're not going to get all the answers within the first like couple of weeks, and feel like owe a lot to him, because stories like the Bloodline, which go on seemingly forever, it's the only reason that I am always willing to be like, well, let's see where this is going. It's because guys like Bray Wyatt was, you knew there was always a bigger picture with him, and he was always, I don't know, it just felt like he was working on a different level, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I remember it came out recently that like the Firefly Funhouse, some of the ideas in the match came from John Cena, who's
Mm,
just also a really great wrestling mind. If you ever have a chance to listen to him talk about the business, but uh, it showed also just like what a great collaborator Bray was.
yeah.
With you put him in the room with other people who really understand storytelling, and specifically someone like John Cena, who I feel like has probably learned a lot over the years, maybe from some of the things that stories he was in that should have gone differently and didn't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and but it's funny because all of that stuff literally tied into the Firefly Funhouse match. That entire match was about the parallel paths of John Cena and Bray Wyatt,
Mm-hmm.
leading them to having a rematch at WrestleMania. Uh, yeah, man, I fucking love that match so much. That was so good.
Yeah.
So good. I remember watching that. We were like, man, I can't believe he's being allowed to do this.
Oh.
That shit was so unhinged
Yeah.
that it was just like, did they tie Vince up and like leave him in a storage closet when they came up with this idea for the match?
Mm-hmm.
Because it just seemed like nothing I had ever seen before.
And they made fun of him too. They
Yeah,
made
I
fun of fucking
know.
Vince with the fucking puppet. It's like, this is
Ah,
some good ass.
yeah, yeah. Man, the end of that match is just, yeah, it's really, really good. The Fiend gimmick was money, man. I'll never
Yeah.
understand why they went away from that. Um, they made the fucking championship, they gave him a special belt. Uh,
It was ugly, but fuck it. It
yeah,
worked.
but I mean, that was part of the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I guess the sad thing from a fan standpoint is that it just feels like a really talented guy, very similar to Brody Lee, who just was never quite given the opportunity that he deserved to really reach,
Mm.
the heights that he see that we all thought he could get to, and that people, in the business thought he could get to also. And it just sucks. Sucks when people in our generation that impacted us pass away.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I said this with Kevin Conroy, but I think the hardest thing about the death of somebody that impacted us is that they were still impacting us.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kevin Conroy was still playing Batman.
Yeah.
And the saddest thing to me is that it's over now. And there won't be any more Kevin Conroy Batman. There won't be any more Bray Wyatt weird polarizing storylines, and
Yeah.
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 And I think that I remember when he came back last year, and it seemed like it did mean a lot to him,
It did.
that everybody was so welcoming. I remember somebody doing an interview. I can't remember if it was Edge or something, and they were saying, or maybe it was Jeff Hardy, but someone who had like been away for a while, and they were like, yeah, it's gonna sound crazy, but sometimes when you come back, you never really know if the fans are gonna still care that you're back. And I forget whoever it was, but I was like, what are you talking about, man? Like, you're Edge, dude. Like, you could come
Mm-hmm.
back 10 years from now. We're all going to lose our fucking minds. But the wrestling world moves quick, man. You look at any WrestleMania card one year to the next, and it will look completely different. And everybody who was on top one year might not even be on the card the next year.
Right.
And fans can be fickle. First they love you, then they hate you, then you turn into a heel, then they love you again. uh we can all admit that fans can be a little fast and loose with their interests. um but yeah, when Bray came back, everybody lost their minds, and I think that this outpouring of reactions to his death would at least you know bring him some sort of solace in knowing that he had an impact on a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna. I'm sure. Like I'll be okay, but it's just like I don't. sucks not being okay, and I just like feel for the family, feel for his coworkers who have already given so much love, and it's just heartbreaking. But what can you do? Any last thoughts?
Well, I hope that SmackDown on Friday is just a big tribute show,
Yeah.
and I hope that his wife and kids and family all get whatever support they need,
Mm-hmm.
or privacy or whatever it is. Um, yeah, I don't know. We lost a good one.
We lost a really good one, and no, hopefully he's entertaining Brody up there in or wherever afterlife you believe in. But that's for me. I like to think that they're chilling now, hanging out. So
Yeah, not an episode we this is certainly not the next episode we thought we were gonna make.
yeah, but one that I feel like we had to do is just because like we want to honor uh, a very unique and phenomenal mind in the wrestling business and just in life in general.
Yeah, and I feel like we probably can't end this episode without also saying rest in peace to Terry Funk.
Absolutely.
He was not our generation,
No,
but he was an absolute legend. And I mean, I don't know
absolute
about you
legend.
guys, but most of my interactions with him were in SmackDown versus Raw 2008. Just still an
Death
absolutely goated
matches.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry Funk was awesome.
I'm gonna miss that guy. He just also like kind of like the memes of like, oh, he retired again recently, or it's like he literally like
Yeah.
retired like a couple years ago when he was still wrestling in his like 70s.
Oh, the king of the hardcore match, man.
Yeah,
God,
man,
that guy was
he was my
nuts.
first introduction to the actual death match, like from FMW in Japan. I watched some of his matches. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Instant fan. I respect that man. I'm very sad to hear he passed away, and it just sucks. Wrestling world took a big hit this week.
Yeah, last
Uh
24 hours have been not great.
no, no, not
Not
good.
great.
So you beautiful people out there, just take care. Talk to someone. Uh, don't hold it in. Don't hold it in. Do what you got to do. Let it out. And yeah, just hopefully y'all just stay positive, and we all love you. We love you. I love you guys.
Love you guys too.
Yeah.
I did want to say that uh when Frankie and we did an episode about Forbidden Door 2, and I had made a comment about how it feels like crazy that we were lucky enough to be born into the same timeline as Kenny Omega
Hmm.
and Kazuchika Okada, because we just as easily could have been born 90 years from now and been reading about them on the internet. Um, but I feel the same way about Bray Wyatt. It's just feel very thankful that we lived the same time as him and got to enjoy all that he created.
Yeah.
Um, there's gonna be people that come along when we're long gone, and they'll be talking about the legendary career of Bray Wyatt, how much he influenced probably people coming up through the business 100 years from now. But we're very lucky that we were here for it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely lucky and blessed. Hashtag blessed, baby. All right. I think it's a nice way to end it. Have a good night. Love y'all. And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.